I love running this company. I love running it because of the people I deal with. There's such a great team of people.
From a career perspective, it's the best move I ever did. I'm enjoying the work. I'm currently on a project and booked for another project soon.
It's given me the opportunity to work with lots of different types of technology and explore some stuff that I maybe only dabbled in at university or before.
SSW is a company that makes enterprise software solutions, and that's what we do. We build software for clients on demand. We build bespoke solutions using the latest technology and the latest best practices.
I've been involved in the development of some mining software, been involved in the development of software for a legal firm, and everything in between there. Even in just under 2 years, I've been working across so many different projects.
We play as hard as we work. You know, it's just a really great place to come into, and I always look forward to coming to work.
So since I've been working here, I've really been pushed, and that's what I wanted. You come to a place where you're working with a team of just absolute weapons. We've got the best in the business here, and that's an exciting place to be.
The guys are very passionate about doing things right the first time. We share our best practices with the community and with our clients and with others. Using conferences, we speak at events, and also we have the SSW rules, which is a huge archive of the best way to do everything.
The management here is totally approachable. So if you have a better way of doing it, or you know of a better method, then everything is up for discussion. As an example, say authentication. So a lot of the guys are building authentication into their apps, and they've been through many different ways of doing that. So generally what ends up happening or coming from that is a discussion around what's the best way of doing it. And we come to a decision based on industry best practice, as well as our own experiences on what the best method and approach is. And that then turns into a rule that we have on our rules.ssw.com.au website.
What really defines this company and make it work is the fact that we have people that are able to share their knowledge and solve complex problems together. It's a wide variety of different clients, different structures, different sizes, different industries, and different technologies as well.
The world we live in now is just so many light years above the world that we were working with even 5 years ago. We get into lots of topics deeply, and it's fascinating how it all works and why it works. You know, we get paid to make fancy jigsaw puzzles.
Access granted.
Developing software is a unique opportunity to be creative and technical at the same time. It gives you the opportunity to solve problems. It gives you the opportunity to exercise and flex your mental muscles by solving problems and figuring things out, while also being creative.
You can feel that energy when you come into the office. There's a really good vibe and connection between everybody who works together here. It's really collaborative, and we even have the tools for doing that collaboration now as well through Microsoft Teams. We always try and team up in pairs where possible for client work. 2 heads are always better than one.
I believe being a developer, a good developer, is writing good quality code. But being a great consultant, which we are at SSW, is half-half between technical skills and communication. That's what makes us different on the market. That's what gives us our edge, because we're capable of not only doing great work in terms of technical skills, but also bringing value and bringing our insight based on our experience, saying, oh, to solve this problem, I would recommend you going that way or this way. And bringing that value, that strategic value to a client, and being able to phrase it, not only having it in your head, but phrasing it to give them options.
And we make sure that people are communicating internally with each other in a way that is professional and succinct, and we make sure that that's the way that we communicate with our customers as well.
And I want to show you a few ways that make email more useful.
People that want to improve their communication through public speaking can do that through the conferences that we're involved in. They can do it through SSW TV.
You might actually not need to go native, guys.
We have a lot of videos that kind of help get your face out there, to get your name out there. We also have a really good social media presence. We have a great marketing team that takes care of that.
We are client-facing all the time. There's no way to work at SSW and just be behind the desk and not talk to anyone. Every day you have to communicate. So that brings communication as a core skill of what you become. And some people develop it a way further, like by doing public speaking. We have awesome speakers. I think NDC videos prove that. We have awesome tech tips and even conferences given by SSW people. I think we had like 6 or 7 this year, so that's pretty huge.
One of the exciting things about working here is we're always on the bleeding edge of technology. We're always trying to reach out to those new projects. What are other people doing? What's the next best thing? I think Adam being a Microsoft Regional Director really gives us a bit of an edge in that regard as well, because he usually knows what's in the pipeline before other people do.
We've had many younger guys come through SSW, and in a few short years, they've become absolutely amazing developers.
You can have guys with just a few years of experience and they're building software that's affecting tens of thousands of users with some guidance of the software architects. It just works. Like, it's amazing. You build something and you test it that you can enter an order, and then all of a sudden you can enter thousands of orders like in seconds. It's just incredible. We couldn't do that a few years ago.
We have a couple of different ways that we socialise. Every lunchtime, we're killing each other in board games, which is always good.
It's interesting because those games, are about psychology. That's very interesting. You learn a lot about people.
The most exciting thing that we do is obviously our company retreats. We go away for a weekend after doing a brainstorming session. On the Friday, we all work together as a group and work out, problems for the company itself. We always try and keep the activities a little bit different to make it a bit of fun.
It's just a great weekend all around.
People that come to work here want to be at that level of globally recognized expertise that some of the best guys at SSW are at. And even if you're not at that stage now, I think that a lot of people that come to work here are inspired by that.
A lot of clients come to us with maybe a general idea of what they want. And you can use your expertise and past experience to really inform their decisions and make sure that they're developing the best possible product. I really enjoy that part of it. I think that would be very satisfying for anyone who's been working on maintaining an old piece of software or maintaining an old system. If they could come and maybe work on some new greenfields projects and potentially, influence the way that product comes out at the other end.
You can come up with cool designs, you can come up with new solutions, you can come up with elegant ways of solving problems that haven't really been done before, and plus you get to build something. And often the projects that we're engaged with, you get to build something that's going to make a difference.
People want more stuff automated, they want richer interfaces, they want bot interfaces. The architecture keeps expanding, the knowledge of Azure keeps growing. Like, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to get better. I'm still trying to make solutions quicker, more maintainable, cheaper, and there's a long way to go.
true competitive personality only comes out on retreats. Like we go on a bushwalk, or we play tennis, or we go swimming, or we go go-karting, and all of a sudden he's just like, get out of the way!
Thank you very much for coming in, guys. I hope you all enjoyed your rides today, and I hope we see you all again, guys.
To SSW.
Emanating a radiant red hue, it's for the company. We are now living in a world where AI can speak, listen, make images, write code. And so tonight we're going to look at DALL-E 3, what's new in ChatGPT, what's new in semantic kernel, all this and more. I'm Adam Kogan. Let's get into it. G'day team, Adam Kogan here for tonight's SSW Tech News, and we've got a lot on. Tonight we are going to be seeing a session by Tylah Kapa on Vercel, and that's simplifying your development with zero configuration. He's got a really good session. He's from the Brisbane office, so you'll really enjoy how simple this is. All right, the biggest news of the month is OpenAI, and they have released DALL-E 3. So this is our third version of image generation, but it can also recognize things. So the first thing that I did is I gave it a picture of what I was doing last night, and it's just a picture of me going rock climbing. I said, I didn't even say a thing. I just put the image there to see what it would do. And it says, oh, that's a great indoor rock climbing facility. Looks like you had a fun time. Indoor climbing is a fantastic way to challenge yourself and stay active. And then from that point on, you could ask it some questions. So it's really cool. Don't even have to write anything anymore. Now, one of the things that DALL-E 3 can do that Midjourney can't, because Midjourney is really, really strong at making beautiful images, is spatial orientation. So you can say, look, I want an image in the right or the left or in the distance or whatever. So let's have a look at what Seth just did from our office only a half an hour ago. He was just testing it out, and he said here, make me a photo of a series of steps emanating a radiant red hue, it's for the company colors, with a state-of-the-art design extending towards a magnificent structure in the backdrop. So he said, put that further away, and that's kind of what he's done. Looks a little religious actually. And then he had another go, and what has he said this time? Make a photo of a futuristic wooden bridge with red undertones featuring steps that ascend upwards, starting from the viewer's viewpoint and leading towards. So there you go. That's what he's done there. He's done another one here, and then he just kept trying and seeing different versions. Very cool. You can do a lot of things that designers could only do before, or even designers couldn't do stuff with this with Photoshop. And it's quick and easy. So very cool. Lots and lots of things here. There's another one, getting more complicated. It's got, looks like some roadways under there. Yeah, lots of fun. You'll have heaps of fun with that. Coincidentally, just last night, does anyone recognize that building? Well, I got that building given to me via a text message from a friend who thinks I know things. And he was at a trivia night, and he sends me and says, you wouldn't happen to know what this thing is, would you? I'm in a trivia game, and of course I didn't recognize it, and it was a very blurry photo, and I just uploaded it, and it said, I used the ChatGPT app, I've got it on the iPad, and I said, what's this? And it said, well, the image is not very clear, so this is tentative identification based on the provided information, but it might be a parliament building, and based on that design, it's probably the National Congress of Brazil, located in Brasilia. The design with those two vertical towers and the dome structure is characteristic of the works of the famous architect Oscar Niemeyer. So, pretty phenomenal, hey? Amazing. Anyway, now, ChatGPT not just does images, it can now see, hear, and speak. So you don't need to type anything. You can just speak to it, and it will talk back. So this is really Siri. We can hear its voice.
We want to hear a bedtime story. Tell us a story about the super-duper sunflower hedgehog named Larry. Start with telling us a little bit about him.
Larry was a unique hedgehog unlike any other. He had bright sunflower petals instead of spines.
Right, so you get the idea. Just speak and it speaks back. So pretty cool. There's a lot of examples here that you could use. You know, you're cooking. How do I do this? Okay. All right. So next piece of news, Chat Copilot integration. So ChatGPT is awesome. You might want it for your company. So for example, I'll just step back and tell you on our homepage, if you look down in the bottom right-hand corner, we have a chat widget. Now this chat widget used to be very basic and just most of the time say, sorry, I couldn't answer that question. I will send an email and someone will get back to you. Now it's a lot more intelligent. If I was to say, hey, do you do React and Azure and whatever you want, it will now respond in a very ChatGPT-like style. Yes, we've got a ton of experts, a team of experts who specialize in both React and Azure. Here's a link. Look, you know, you can even book a free initial meeting with us. So it's a lot more helpful than it used to be. People expect this style of chat experience these days. Now, if you want to build your own, so you can use this new service from Microsoft, which is Chat Copilot, and using semantic memory, you can produce an experience such as that. Now, we didn't for that because this has only just come out. We used a third-party provided tool and then built our own stuff on top of it, and that's also another way to go. But you might want to get really sophisticated. And then it all depends on the intelligence of the semantic kernel, really. And the semantic kernel has had an update, and here is an update, and there is a ton of work being thrown into this semantic kernel. Okay. Next piece of news. Playwright. Now, Playwright is a way of testing your applications. We use it a lot. We have some rules on that. I might just quickly. Actually, I could have used that tool, but I could just search SSW rules Playwright, and here we go. And it's all about UI automated testing. There is a nice video here by Matt Goldman, how we use it here, so that's quite useful. Now, one of the problems with Playwright is that you need a fair bit of power to run it. Who's got a lot of power? Well, Azure have a lot of power, so there's now a Microsoft Playwright testing service. So they're just kicking this off. This is a really, really important service, and that's great. It's going to get a lot more traction using Playwright in your application development. Next piece of news. All right, more development stuff, and this is Azure API management. Now, when you build a large enterprise application, or even a small app really, you want a whole lot of telemetry, you want security on it, you want to stop it, you want caching. So you want a lot of this stuff that will make your API more resilient. Now, one of the problems has been, if you in any big company, you'll want VNet integration. Now, the VNet integration feature was only on the big expensive tier, which was $5,000 a month. They've now moved that down into the basic tier, or the standard tier, and so it's gone down to about $1,000 a month. So $12,000 a year for this great service, telling you what the problems are with your API, is really important. So that's going to really increase the usage of API management. This will probably become pretty standard now. Next piece of news, GitHub Copilot Chat. So you're using GitHub, and you can now ask it questions. So this GitHub Copilot, so if you have VS Code, and you can now just open that up and say, hey, tell me any bugs in this file. Can you write me some unit tests for this? And now everyone has access to this. You don't have to sign up for anything. It's all good to go. Every developer will be a lot smarter for this. And the amount you can do in one day will far exceed what you could probably do in weeks in the old days. Next piece of news. Arc.net. Now this is a new browser. This is coming to Windows, but right now it's only on the Mac. Let's take a look at why this is cool. Now I'm just going to pause it there for a second because on Friday, Brady was using this, and this is not a browser I use, I'm still on Edge, and he had a whole page of content. We were running a brainstorming where on that page it had each team name and the members, team name and the members, and there's about 60 or 70 people here, and he's trying to manage them all. Someone didn't turn up, and he said, which team could I allocate this person to? I want it to be a team with low numbers. And so it just looks at the page and you can ask any intelligent question that you would like. So in this case, the person said, this page is too long. So give me a summary. Nice little video. There you go. So anyway, that might be the next cool browser that you might try. Next piece of news, Atlassian. Wow, Atlassian have acquired Loom. Okay, Loom have a very cool tool that a lot of developers here use. When we do a feature in a sprint, we often record what we call a done video. Now you can record it using Camtasia or something else. And I'll tell you, we also have a rule for this, which is SSW done video. And the done videos that we do all the time, there's a bunch of different tools out there. One of those tools that we use is called Loom, okay? And Loom is a very nice little tool. I prefer recording it with Loom and putting it still on my YouTube channel. But you could just record it and it automatically uploads it to Loom, and it's great. Atlassian have just bought that. So they didn't just buy Trello, now they've bought Loom, and they're just down the road there in Sydney, and that's a big call, Great. Yeah, video capability is very important in their Confluence product or their Jira product. Next piece of news. All right, Microsoft have closed a huge deal, 109 billion, bigger than LinkedIn, bigger than any of their other deals actually. It's huge. So they've bought Activision. I'm not sure how I feel about big companies buying other big companies. However, if they didn't, Sony wouldn't have any serious competition. At least it's not the biggest company buying another big company. Obviously Microsoft is huge, but we're just talking, the gaming division. Microsoft is not the leader. But now they've got Activision. They will now be able to, because, Sony, obviously the kings with PlayStation, but they are tying their games to only work on PlayStation. Hopefully, games that Microsoft release will play on all platforms, but they're probably going to follow, they can follow the lead, I guess, and only have their games play on their own platform. That will be sad if that's what we end up having to need a whole lot of gaming platforms to play the games we want. But that's kind of what's happening with all the, Netflix and Disney and all the other streaming services. Everyone's tying down. Now, talking about people that tie things down, Apple, iPhone 15, it's out. It's expensive, and it's got this cool new feature, it charges with USB-C. Isn't that amazing? I love it when Apple invent these cool ideas. And they didn't even mention that they were forced to do it from the EU. Anyway, Pixel 8 have a new phone out too. That's also very cool, whichever way you're going. All right, now we talked last month about the fun of Unity. The CEO decided to change the pricing model, and boy, did he change it. You should look back at that episode to see what he did. It was almost comical. Anyway, so we did predict that he was going to have to step down, and he did step down. So, and if you read the story, you'll probably find out that this was an own goal. He didn't even need to do this. Nobody was pressuring him to do it. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Anyway, all right. Now, Tesla, they have finally, this has taken a long time, they have released an API. Well, they always had an API, but we didn't have access to it. So now we can call an API and see things. So, a company that has a whole bunch of Teslas, they will, especially the companies the rental companies, they will definitely want this. You can see where all your cars are. With one click of a button, you can turn the heated seats on every single Tesla. You can do a lot of crazy fun things. You can see how I don't know if you'll be able to see how they're driving, but you can definitely get a lot of information. We'll see what they open up and what they don't open up. Anyway, that's been a long time coming. All right, so hopefully that was good. If we missed any news, please throw it down there in the comments. We want to hear. If you disagree with anything I said, throw it down there in the comments. We've got a whole lot of all the old tech news here and lots of other great videos, always releasing good ones. I'd be happy to hear from you. And I will see you next month. And this is Adam Kogan signing off for SSW TV.
Awesome. Welcome everyone to the Full Stack User Group for October. My name is Tylah Kapa, and today I want to talk to you about Vercel and simplifying your development with zero configuration. If you don't know me, my name is Tylah Kapa, and you can stalk me on X at JadeKappa or on SSW People. I'm an SSW software engineer with a background in games development. Once I broke an arm while arm wrestling. I'm terrible at kickboxing, and I collect very expensive cardboard. If you want to know more about those things, you can talk to me afterwards. In case you didn't know, SSW has the awesome rewards app. You can scan the QR code on screen right now to install it. And at talks and events just like this, you'll be able to earn points, which you can claim for prizes such as SSW merch or a smartwatch. So let's jump into it. First, I want to talk about what sparked the need for Vercel in me. Then we'll talk about what Vercel and Next.js is. Then I want to talk a little bit, or give a demo rather, of how to get the best possible start with Vercel and Next.js. I'm going to go through some pros and cons of Vercel, and then we'll wrap up and you can all get started on those side projects. So first, a question for the audience. Have you ever failed to launch on a side project? Just hands up if you have. Because I know that I have. And for me, when projects take a while to begin, they end up postponed until they no longer exist. For example, I wanted to migrate my blog, but I never ended up getting started. So let's get into the requirements for that blog. I wanted a blog website that was easy to stand up and easy to maintain and update. I wanted good analytics so I could know who was coming in and out of my website and what my most popular posts were. I wanted to take advantage of static site generation, and so I personally chose Next.js, and that's just a personal preference for me. Best of all, I wanted it to be free, because for my existing blog, I was paying about $30 a month. So if I could pay less, that'd be so much better. Here's what I ended up doing instead. And I thought about why I ended up being lazy and not starting this project. And I found that the question that would trigger it is, how would I do that? How would I start this migration? Well, I would have to create my repository, and then I would need to find somewhere to host it. And I chose Azure because that's what I knew at the time. I would have to create my Azure resources, like a static web app, and then I would have to set up my GitHub Actions. Now, to be fair to Azure, it's not very hard to set up a static web app, but then I would have to set up things like App Insights or Front Door, and then I would have to debug those resources, and then I would get sad, and I would go play games because I'm sad. So enter Vercel and Next.js. But you might be asking, what is Next.js? Well, it's a powerful React framework where you can benefit from incremental static regeneration and static site generation. That's why I like it. It has TypeScript integration, and that might be a con to some of you, but that's okay. You have API routing, which means you can build API endpoints for your website without needing to create a separate app. And it also has built-in CSS, image, and font optimization, so you can improve the performance and reduce the load time of your website. So, what is Vercel? Well, it's a cloud hosting service, and it markets itself as an end-to-end platform. It takes care of your deployments and your CI/CD for you, and it has built-in analytics capabilities. You also have edge functionality, which means you can run serverless functions more local to your user for lower latency. Officially, Vercel supports many JavaScript frameworks, and more importantly, it supports Next.js because Vercel was created by Next.js developers. So, I want to talk about just how easy it is to get started with Vercel. So we're going to jump into deploying a website, and today I want to show you starting with zero code to having a cloned repository live on the web. So let's jump into it. I'm on my vercel.com dashboard right now, and I've logged in with GitHub. You can see my existing blog here, but we're going to create a new project by going Add New Project. And from this page, you can actually import an existing GitHub repository. But I don't really want to do that right now. I'm going to show you how to clone a brand new template. So we'll come over to the Clone Template screen. We're going to head over to Browse All Templates. Once we click in, there's a plethora of both Vercel and community-supplied templates up for grabs, ready to deploy. And you can see we have an AI chatbot, some stuff like Next.js Commerce, or multiple starters that we can pick. But I want to choose a blog, so let's head over to blog. And there's still even more templates to choose from, but I like the look of this blog starter kit. Yeah, that's crazy.
Do you want to go back like 30
Yeah.
seconds?
We'll head back to the pushing changes slide. How about that?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for waiting for that, guys. Okay. You let me know when I'm good to go, Bradley.
Are we good to go?
Go. Awesome. So you might want to know how to push changes to your website. Well, luckily, Vercel will listen to our repository and create new deployments for every push that we do. I've already cloned it locally, so let's see it in action. I'm going to head over to VS Code now. And I've set everything up locally so that I know it's working. I've already run yarn install and stuff like that. We can see all our files on the left-hand side, and I can come up to the post folder where all of our other blogs live. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new file, and we're going to name it, I don't know, my blog or something like that. And because this is not a typing competition, I'm just going to copy and paste in something I already had. This is a typical Markdown blog file with front matter, including a title and author. And we've also got a very basic blog body. And all we need to do now is push this up. So I'm going to create a new commit. Let's stage our changes first and make sure we commit new blog. And we'll sync those changes up into GitHub. Cool. Once we've done that, we can jump back into GitHub, see that that commit has gone through properly. Cool, we got it. And now we can head back over to Vercel and see that our build is actually running. We can jump back into our project, and up in the deployments tab, we can see we've already got our new blog commit running and ready. So we can head back to our project tab, and we can now see that our new blog is live and deployed. So let's open that up. And if we scroll down, we can see that new blog post there. Okay, cool. So now that we know how easy it is to use Vercel, we can explore some more interesting concepts like preview deployments. Now, preview deployments are a baked-in feature in Vercel, and we all like those, right? I've already talked about how Vercel listens for changes to our repository, but I'm going to show you a new way to deploy using the Vercel CLI. So I'm just going to jump back into VS Code, and we can create a new development branch. So down in the left here, we'll create a new branch called development. Now, all we need to do is publish this branch to Git so it knows it exists. And then in our terminal down the bottom, we can just run Vercel link. Now, what this is going to do is link our local repository up to our Vercel project. We get some setup questions. Yes, I want this to be associated with me. I exist. And it found our blog starter kit project already. Cool. So once all that's done, I'm just going to go ahead and run clear so everyone can see what's happening. As soon as that happens. Awesome. And now I can run Vercel deploy. It's going to upload briefly, and then we're going to get back some information, including our new deployment and preview link. So I'm going to jump back into Vercel now. And in our deployments tab, again, we can see that our preview deployment is currently building. If we open up this deployment, we can take a look at exactly what's happening. And we can see that it's assigning our domains, and in just 28 seconds, our preview build is ready to go. So we can open this up, and we get authenticated with Vercel. I'll open this up for you. And that is our preview deployment ready to go, ready to be observed by anyone in your team. So one of the coolest features of preview deployments that you might have noticed is commenting. And down the bottom here, if I just zoom in for you a bit, you can see that we have some little menus here that says comment and share and menu. But what do those actually do? Well, if I come up here, press C to start commenting, I'm going to head over to our blog title, and I'm going to highlight it. And that's going to create this new modal that says start a thread. And if I type something like this title needs to be changed, suddenly we have a huge thread on our preview deployment. And we can go ahead and react to that apparently if we want. Let's give that a little 100 emoji. And we can also open an inbox of all the threads that have been created on our website. And we can even filter it per page. So this is just something small that I love about preview deployments in Vercel, where we can have this little conversation instead of taking a screenshot of something wrong on your website and marking it up with any paint garbage. We can just directly comment on what's wrong and then send the link off to our team. And I just thought that was kind of cool. But let's jump back into Vercel now. And we can take a look at the project page. We head back to blog starter kit and project. If we scroll down now, just below our production deployment, we can see that in active branches, we have our development branch there with all the details. So we know what branch it is, we know how many comments someone's written on this website, and we can even open it up from here as well. So that is preview deployments in Vercel. Give me a second, please. So we've just seen how easy it is to deploy to Vercel, but what about analytics and logging? We all want to see that stuff. We all want to see who's visiting our website or how performant it is, and we want to maintain some logs for reference. So it's all available for free in Vercel. Let's jump in and take a look. On our project page, we can actually jump up to Speed Insights. And if you don't know what Speed Insights are, they're actually a metric from 0 to 100 based on how performant your website is. They track stuff such as loading speed or responsiveness or visual stability. And you can actually just get this for free on the hobby plan. If we scroll down and we click enable, I actually get an error. And that's because free accounts can actually only have one website with Speed Insights enabled at a time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement analytics for this website, and then I'll show you it all working on my existing blog. So moving on from there, we can hit analytics, and we get a similar modal asking us or stepping us through how to enable web analytics. You can see how many visitors will come in. If I just click next, we can see the details of our plan, and we can get 2,500 events per month included and 1 month of viewable history, all for free. I don't know how popular you guys are, but I'm not that popular, so this is more than enough for me. And we're just gonna go ahead and click enable. Once that's all done, we get a nice getting started message from Vercel. They give us some steps to complete in order to actually track analytics in our website. So I'm going to highlight this because this is an important package to install. And we can go ahead and actually open up the Vercel documentation, which explains exactly how to do this. We can enable web analytics in Vercel. We'll add the package to our project. I'm actually going to go ahead and yoink that. And we can add the analytics component to our app. Then all we need to do is deploy it. So next thing I'm going to do is jump into VS Code and implement all those steps I just scrolled through. So the first thing I want to do is add the package. And it's just as simple as running a npm install. And then once that's done, we can head over to our app TSX, just as the documentation said. which is where all of our configuration is going to live. Again, I'm going to copy down some code that I've already written. And here we're going to import the analytics tag from the package that we just installed. Now I can go ahead and add that tag into our component. And you'll see, once I save this, I'm going to open this up, and it's just going to add Vercel Web Analytics into the page and start tracking page views. There's some props that you can also add to this, but I'm not interested in any of those props at the moment. Now, all we need to do is make sure we're on main, first of all, and commit those changes. So we'll come over, stage them all, and just hit Add Analytics. We'll click Commit and push them up. Cool. So we'll jump back into Vercel now. And I said I would show you my own personal blog. So let's do that now. I'll jump into kappa.dev, and we can see the analytics in action. All right. So now that we're in the analytics dashboard view, I can expand it out to the last 30 days. We can see how many visitors I've had, and we can scroll through, get a brief overview. We can see page views, things like top pages and top referrers. Thanks, Goldie. We can see who is visiting from where. We can see the operating systems they're using and the browsers they're using as well. You can also, if you are on a pro plan, use custom events. So that's pretty handy as well. So moving on from there, we can take a look at the speed insights. We can see just how performant the site is. Humble brag, it's pretty good. But we can take a look at how performant my website is. We can take a look at time to first contentful paint, largest paint, cumulative layout shift, all this good stuff. And it's just really awesome information for you to optimize your website. So now that we've seen all this awesome stuff, we can move over to logging. And logging in Vercel is fairly basic. All you see is what endpoints are getting hit in your website, and you have some filters on the left-hand side as well. And with that, that's actually it. We've seen just how easy it is to deploy to Vercel and start jumping into our development. So you might be wondering, how does Vercel compare? What are the pros and cons of using it? Well, it's actually quite easy. It's scalability. It has great enterprise features like logging or better logging and including multi-tenant applications. It has great performance. You've seen how quickly you can iterate using Vercel. It has access to edge functionality, being able to run functions closer to your end user to take advantage of Vercel's edge functions. And ease of use. Again, you've seen just how easy it is to get started. There's a focus on development, which means I can focus on getting my app and iterating my features and deploying them. And as you've seen, there's an incredible suite of free features. So what are the downsides? Well, you're mostly locked into Node.js, and it has a front-end focus with less CI/CD opportunities. So if you're looking at building something more back-end, or you want to work on your CI/CD skills, Vercel probably isn't the thing for you. Pro pricing is also per user per month, which is quite a large downside for some, but they do negotiate. So now that you've learned all about Vercel and how to get started in it, I regret to inform you that unfortunately we no longer have an excuse to not get those side projects going. If you're interested in learning more about Vercel or Next.js, you're in luck, because Next.js Conf is just around the corner this month on October 26th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Not as lucky for us though, because for us that is 3 a.m. on October 27th AEDT. So we'll just enjoy the VODs, I suppose. You can see where I got the inspiration and resources for this talk. And if you've got some feedback, please go ahead and scan this QR code and tell me all about how you hated what I said. Oh, okay, sorry. I'll give him a couple of seconds. We'll give you 10 seconds. No more, no less. Otherwise, you can take a look at the VOD, Bradley. All right. So, yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. If you're interested in finding the source code that we wrote together today, or you want to take a look at this presentation on GitHub, please go ahead and find me at Kapa. Otherwise, you've been such an awesome audience. I love you all very, very much. And thank you so much for watching. Okay, let's jump into some questions, right?
Yes. Thank you, Tyler. Let's just shove it in the middle. We've got a couple questions from the audience. First of all, someone's asking about the logging. So does the logging tab in Vercel include the logs from your edge functions?
Include the logs from your edge functions. So the question was, you already iterated it. So yes, Vercel does actually show the logs from your edge functions. They show when they got hit, and I believe it also shows the response that came through.
Thank you. Someone also wants to know, is it just for prototyping, or can you also use Vercel for enterprise applications?
Yep, so Vercel is used by enterprise corporations. Please don't ask me what they are right now, but I assure you, yes, they are used by very serious companies iterating on serious applications.
Yep. So if you start on Vercel and then you decide you need some stronger backend needs and commit to Vercel, are you tied to Vercel, or is it fairly easy to move your Next.js code base to another cloud provider like Azure?
Yeah, so as you saw, all we did was kind of point Vercel at a repository. So I'd imagine that if you wanted to migrate, you found Vercel was too expensive for you, and you wanted to downsize and just use Azure or something like that, you should just be able to pluck your repo out of Vercel or shut down that project in Vercel and migrate all of your resources into Azure and point at that repo instead.
Awesome. Question from the audience.
Oh, I do have a question. Is you bragging that you wanted to do this for free, right? You're paying $30 a month, but it sounds like you've got to pay a bit of money for this Vercel stuff. Right?
Repeat the question.
How did you meet your goal?
Yeah, so the question was, if I was already paying $30 a month, it seems like there are some features that you would have to pay for. Is that correct? So how did I end up paying less? And that is purely because I didn't have a need for the enterprise features in Vercel. Things like custom logging, I don't need access to that. But everything I showed you is entirely free. So all of those features are more than enough for my needs, and those might not suit you. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Cool. Another question from online. Can we swap out the Node.js backend and use something else like .NET?
I was so afraid of this question. So I said it was mostly locked into the Node.js ecosystem, and it is somewhat, I've heard through the grapevine, that it's possible to use something like Blazor WASM and deploy that to Vercel as well. But I've heard it's a lot of hoops to jump through. So you're really going through a lot more effort in order to use WASM instead.
All right, one last question, Tyler. Are you being paid by Vercel, or what's going on here?
I should be. So Vercel, if you're listening, please sponsor me, and I'll do some more awesome Vercel content for you. No, I am not being paid by Vercel.
Awesome. One last round. Oh, before I wrap up, one question.
How many preview sites am I allowed to use at once?
Repeat the question.
So the question was, how many preview sites are you allowed to use at once? And the answer is, I'm not too sure about that, but I've had upwards of 4 projects deployed at the same time and never had an issue. So I'm not aware of any actual restrictions around how many projects you can have.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Thanks, Bradley.
Cool. All right. We'll call that a wrap. Thank you, everyone. It's been a great talk, Tyler. So hopefully we can see some more info about Vercel, maybe on a blog you've deployed using Vercel.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
All right.
That is real and true. I do have a blog on Vercel, and you can take a look at it at kappa.dev. Cool.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.